Ho ho!
It took 5 goals to win the match, but only 2 counted. I wanted to ask you specifically about Arda Güler's goal. The referee, Sanchez Martinez, interpreted it in a certain way. What did you see, and what did you discuss with him at the end of the match? If it's a continuous, immediate play, do you understand why the goal was disallowed?
Yes, that's the point, isn't it? The fourth official said it had to be an immediate action, and that was the referee's interpretation. My interpretation at the time was different, but, well, that third goal would have been important because it would have allowed us to manage the game differently. It stayed tight until the end. We tried, but it was his interpretation, and, well, he's the one in charge, and today that's how it went.
I was going to insist on that play, but it seems you already have it clear. Even though you see it differently than the referee and fourth official, the decision won't change. So I'll ask about the football side. Today Vinicius started, then Rodrigo came on. How did you see Vini's contribution as a starter? Was it better than in his first match here at the Bernabéu? And how did you see Rodrigo as a substitute?
Yes, he contributed well. I think it was a better performance than the one against Osasuna here at home. That goal he scored was important, putting us ahead. And then Rodrigo coming in too. I think all 3 substitutions gave us composure because at that moment we were losing a bit of control of the game. Both Danis and Rodrigo came in well. That's what we need, players ready to contribute. But yes, I'm happy with Vini's game. He keeps scoring, which is very important, and Rodrigo also had good minutes.
How does the international break arrive for the team? 9 points out of 9. Some players will stay, like the Brazilians and Trent, but football-wise and mentally, they've had 2 months with you between the Club World Cup, the holidays, and not going with their national teams. How does this break come at this point?
Well, I'd actually like to keep going because I think staying in the rhythm of having them close is better for us. But my wish doesn't matter. We knew these first 3 matches after a mini preseason were important to compete in, to start evolving in certain things, and to keep shaping the path we want to follow. These games have told us a lot. Now comes the break, and then we start the next block with Champions League matches. But overall, 9 points out of 9 is good. There are positives from these first 3 games, and also things to improve, which we'll work on.
I wanted to ask you about Kylian Mbappe. He scored today, but the goals didn't stand, offside by millimeters. When he was substituted with a minute left, he seemed a bit frustrated, understandably because he didn't score, as he's a striker. Do you like players with that kind of rebelliousness?
The fact that Kylian didn't score today worries me 0 because he will keep scoring. He has until now, and today he was very, very close. He had several chances, and his attitude was very good. He was just offside by a matter of millimeters. On that last shot, that last dribble, he just lacked a bit of sharpness, but I'm not worried at all because I know he'll get back to scoring in the upcoming matches.
You know that some players generate debate when they arrive at clubs, especially regarding their transfer fee. That's been the case with Carreras. There was some cloud over whether 50 million euros for a player who had already been in the academy was too much. He played 2 very good matches, but today, aside from his goal, he seemed to be everywhere. Has that debate reached you, and what can you tell us about Carreras as a left-back for Madrid?
No, that debate never reached me. I had already been following him, and I was very happy that he joined us. It couldn't happen during the Club World Cup, but it did for the season. His adaptation, well, since he already knew the club, you expect it to be smooth, but I think it's been extraordinary. His competitive level, his understanding of the game, he does almost everything well. He's focused throughout the whole match, so he's a very good signing for both the present and the future.
Now, with the international break coming, you already have a lot of video and data to analyze. How do you see this process the team is going through? At what stage do you think you are right now?
Well, I think we're better than at the start, obviously. And now, in terms of the team's feeling, in terms of where we stand, results are definitely important. They back up the work you're doing and help everyone believe this is the right path. After the break, we'll enter the next stage with the Champions League starting, and we'll need to fine-tune some things, but that's normal. I'm happy with where we are.
It was a match with a lot of VAR interventions. We're coming from an incident at Mendes Arosa. I don't know if you saw it. Jagoba said it needs to improve, and he was really surprised by what happened.
Yes, it surprised me too. There were mistakes that shouldn't happen, and let's see what comes of it, but yes, we need to improve. Both in terms of overusing VAR and in making sure it's used properly. I don't think you need to re-referee every single situation, but when VAR is used, it has to be done correctly, of course.
There's been a lot of praise for Alvaro Carreras, but I wanted to ask you about the other side of the coin, Fran Garcia. He had a great Club World Cup, but hasn't featured at all in La Liga yet.
Well, obviously it's not easy, but I've spoken with Fran. He knows he's ready. He knows that now we're entering the next phase with matches midweek, almost until December, and everyone is aware of that. Fran, Raul, and David haven't had playing time yet. I think they're the ones. Those are the difficult decisions a coach has to make, but Fran always shows professionalism and a great attitude in training. And that gives me the certainty that when we need him, he'll be fully prepared.
Today, Mbappe was just a few centimeters away from scoring 2 goals. But last season, he was also the player with the most offsides in La Liga, practically double the second. I'm sure you must think it's a shame, but can that be trained or corrected? It would make a big difference.
Yes, of course it can be trained. But he's always a threat for opponents, and he gets into so many situations. Some will go his way, some won't. These are things he can definitely improve on, even within his great qualities, his runs, his ability to anticipate where to move, and then his finishing. But as I said before, I'm not worried at all. He didn't score today, but the other day in Oviedo, he scored 2. He scored against Osasuna 2. Kylian will score plenty of goals.
Could you give us your overall balance of this first mini stage of the season? What have you liked the most, and what do you still think needs correcting?
Well, today's match had different phases. Our start wasn't the best, but the reaction afterwards was good. What we didn't do as well today was pressing higher up the pitch. Mallorca were able to transition and turn us around too easily, and we need to do that better because until now we'd been doing it very well. Today our pressing after losing the ball wasn't as strong as we would have liked, so we'll work on that. On the other hand, our attacking was better than against Osasuna, for example. We created more, especially in that spell around the 20th minute of the first half. Against a very low block, 5-3-2, with Joseph and Murici staying high up, we managed to generate more chances. So some things were better, others worse, but we'll keep working and insisting. The team's conviction, the players' conviction, is being built step by step, and for me that's very important.